I am honoured by the opportunity to address the Security Council at this critical juncture. I am not here as an expert. I stand before you merely as a witness, as someone who has seen and cannot look away. I went to Bangladesh last March as a UNHCR Goodwill Ambassador to see what I could possibly contribute in responding to the massive humanitarian needs unfolding there. Nothing could have prepared me for the extent and depth of the suffering I saw. Layla fled her burning village with her infant son, Yusuf. As she cradled Yusuf in her arms, she described to me how her husband was forcibly taken from her village, and as I sat with Layla, a small child was playing behind me, and I noticed some terrible scars on his leg. And when I asked how he came by these, his family told me that he had been caught in the flames when their home had been torched. If only such stories were atypical. But visiting with refugee families in Bangladesh, I found that they were shockingly routine. Like you, I have heard the gut-wrenching accounts, stories of grave torture, of women brutally violated, people who have had their loved ones killed before their eyes, children who have seen their grandparents locked in houses that were set alight. I am a mother, and I saw my own children in the eyes of every single refugee child that I met. I saw myself in every parent. How can any mother endure seeing her child thrown into a fire? Their experiences will never leave me. Mr. President, Bangladesh's recent response, receiving over 700,000 refugees in a matter of months and providing them safety, is one of the most visible and significant gestures of humanity in our time. But the needs are vast. The suffering is acute. Much more international support is needed. Many Bangladeshi villages living nearby with very little to call their own have been helping the Rohingya refugees over the past year. If people with so little can step up, why can't we do better? They need clean water and sanitation facilities to wash, to cook, to clean. They need a secure shelter to weather monsoons and the heat. Their children need an education. Their grandparents need to be cared for. But they need more than just food and water, informal schools, temporary shelter. They need a future. Mr. President, the focus of our efforts must be to provide the much-needed support inside Bangladesh whilst working to ensure conditions in Myanmar are conducive to returns. The many refugees that I spoke with consider Myanmar their home, but they have real, deep fears about returning there. The denial of their right to move, their right to marry, their right to work, their right to health care and education renders them amongst the most vulnerable people on the planet. Refugees move back home when it is safe and secure to do so. The Rohingya cannot return to the very conditions they were forced to flee. They cannot settle for half solutions. They must know that they belong. A clear pathway to full citizenship is essential. This is not a luxury. This is not a privilege. This is a basic right that all of us here enjoy. A right that the Rohingya do not have. There are no shortcuts. There are no alternatives. We have failed the Rohingya before. Please, let us not fail them again. Thank you.